Good afternoon, everyone. So, how you all are? I really hope you all are fine, right? So, today we are going to start with the topic. What you can see in this picture. And there is one path, and the two ways are divergent, right? And the one way is one way for one choice, and another way is for another choice, right? So, you can see here, as you can see here, like you can choose a way, right? You can choose a way, and you can see here what it's a choice, right? You can choose one way to another, and there is a way where you can find, and you can choose a way. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to make a difficult decision, right? Maybe you have like had to choose between two equal desirable things, like following our career path to becoming a thing, right? And you may have considered that different paths of studies or activity, each choice would lead you down. We all have been faced with challenges decision in our life, and sometimes the difficult of making those decisions arise from the fear of not knowing if what we choose is right, or what will happen as a result of our choice. So well, the famous American poet like Robert Frost once said that the poet described the feeling exactly. The road not taken, first published in 1916, which perhaps for first most famous poem. The final line is particular. Two road diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one traveled by, and that has made all the differences, right? And often referred as inspiration word that challenge us to overcome obstacle in life. The poem describes someone standing at a fork or turning point in a wood in a road in the wood, and trying to decide which path he is going to take. And he looks down one road as far as he can see, and after thinking for another minute decides to take the other one way, because it looks like nobody's been that way yet, and he's curious about where it lead to, right? And he thinks like maybe he could come back. It's a choice, like if we choose the one correct way, we'll have a better future, right? And the future that can be bright too, and we never know that has been or not. So here you can see that Robert Frost in full that march. Okay, here's the figure of the poem makes it begins in the delight and ends in wisdom, right? The figure is the same as far as love. So here you can see that Robert Frost is Lee Francisco, USA. Okay, he's from USA and died January 29, 1963, Boston. So American poet who was much desired for his depictions of the rural life of New England. Like we are going to study about the first stanza. Okay, that the two roads diverge in a yellow road, and sorry I could not travel both, but and be one traveler. Long I stood and locked down one as far as I could, to where it bend in the undergrowth, right? Underneath. So here you can see that first uses the bend in the road as a metaphor, right? So what the narrator wishes he could see that ultimate cannot make out in the undergrowth. The narrator eventually decides to take the other road, because it really doesn't matter what whichever path he chooses, he has no way of knowing where he's going to end up, right? So a discussion question like number one, I have described a narrator that must took two obstacles. You can see in this timer. So the question time: two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel the both. Relate this line with your day-to-day life. So have you ever faced this kind of situation where you have been like confused to choose which way out, right? So you like nearly how did you make your decision? Like, do you agree with the narrator what he has chosen? Do you wonder what might have been happen if he chosen different way, right? So then the next thing is that uh, it took it then took the other way as just as fair and having perhaps the better cause, and the grass the other way was like grassy, okay, and he really wanted that to be chosen off. So like because it was grassy, it was passing through, had warned them really about the same, right? So we can know the fact that he chooses the way that wasn't traveled, right? And we can see that same as another, but another road was walked away. And we can see that there was a forest. You can see here it's a forest, right? And so now this is activity time. Form the sentences, that is fair, grassy, passing path or passing path. Okay, confusion, choices. So this is the forming sentence that you should choose. Okay, and the second thing is that is school. What would we choose? Like school, exam, yoga. This is the holiday. This is the choosing time, and you can pause the video and you can choose it out, right? So what do you choose? Like for your life, like we nearly choose uni exam over holiday, right? So question time. The poet kept on looking both the path, as the both path belong to the same path, right? There was a path he wanted to choose, and wanted where is used path. So wanted where is a choose used to choose path, right? And both that morning equal lace in leaves, no step had trolled back, black. Okay, oh, I kept the first the way out, and the knowing he was leading the way. So you can see here. And the poet says that both the paths were similar that morning. Okay, both had leaves on them and had stepped on them, as well as they were still green color, right? So green in color. And you can see that he knew that he could not go back on the choice that he made. And he knew that he could not. Similarly, even in our lives, okay, once we choose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option, and we never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we had all left earlier, right? So we can know that there is a difference, there is a path, there is knowing things, right? So give antonyms: decision, confusion, colorful, greenery. So you can give the antonyms of this word. Pause the video and write to those things, right? So, oh, this is the question time that you need to explain. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on the way, I double if I should ever come back. Okay, so I doubt if I ever come back. So, recapitulation, like we all came to know about that. He says that in the future, okay, he will take a deep breath and says that once upon a time, okay, he had reached at some of the point in life that there was two options for him, and he traveled on that road which had been traveled open by lesser number of people. That decision of this decided his future. Similarly, in future, when you grow up, okay, then you will say that once upon a time, when you were young, when you had like two options, the choice that you made, okay, made you what you became. So this is very strong message for all the students, that you should be very wise and careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today, right? So this is all about the thing. And we even know that uh, that life once has given a choice, options, and you have to be very careful to know that. So the homework is that you shall explain these lines, I shall be telling that water high somewhere ages and hinges, two road diverged in a row, and I took one less travel, and that has made all the differences. That means that one could be right and one could be wrong. So, but you have to be very careful. So you have to explain these lines, and you have to know that what is right and what is wrong.